Hi, everybody. I'm Burke from Shared Science, and we're very happy to be here for City of STEM. Today, you'll learn the basics of the Python programming language. No experience is necessary. As long as you can read and write, you can learn Python. These lessons are from our free video series, Python Bites. So if you fall behind, you can always catch up at your own pace. We'll drop a link later for you. One small thing, despite what lesson 0 says, you do need a REPL account to code. You'll hear about that in just a minute. It's free, it's easy, and it's super helpful. Ready? Good. Let's begin with lesson 0 and 1.
Hello, everybody. I'm Burke with Shared Science in Long Beach, California, where creative kids dive into STEM fun. You're watching Python Bites, a series of short lessons to get you started programming in the Python language. This is lesson 0, where you'll get an overview of Python and learn how to set up your computer to code. There are no prerequisites for this lesson. It's appropriate for ages 8 and above. You must be able to type and have basic computer skills. Grown-ups are welcome too. You'll need a computer, a Chromebook, or a tablet, anything that can run a browser. You could also use a smartphone, but it's going to be hard to see everything on the small screen. Python was first released in 1991, and today it's one of the most used programming languages, and also one of the fastest growing. What's so cool about Python? Well, it was designed to be easy to read and easy to learn, so it's a great starting point for beginners. Welcome back, friends. Hello, everybody. I'm Burke with Shared Science in Long Beach, California, where creative kids dive into STEM fun. You're watching Python Bites, a series of short lessons to get you started programming in the Python language. This is lesson 0, where you'll get an overview of Python and learn how to set up your computer to code. There are no prerequisites for this lesson. It's appropriate for ages 8 and above. You must be able to type and have basic computer skills. Grown-ups are welcome too. You'll need a computer, a Chromebook, or a tablet, anything that can run a browser. You could also use a smartphone, but it's going to be hard to see everything on the small screen. Python was first released in 1991, and today it's one of the most used programming languages, and also one of the fastest growing. What's so cool about Python? Well, it was designed to be easy to read and easy to learn, so it's a great starting point for beginners, but it's also quite powerful. It's available for just about any computer operating system you can imagine. Oh, and it's free and extraordinarily well supported. Tens of thousands of code libraries are available to help you build just about any program you can think of. You can check out python.org for much more about Python. You'll write your first Python program in lesson 1, but before we can dig in, you'll need software. When you're just starting out learning a new programming language, an IDE or integrated development environment makes your life much easier. We'll be using an online IDE called Replit, which supports dozens of different languages, including Python. Point your browser to the Replit link below this video or type in repl.it/languages/python3. That's it. Creating an account is not required, but you won't be able to save your programs easily. As always, if you're a kid, ask your parents before sharing your contact information. For homework, create a Replit account if you want, and bookmark it so you can find it again. Okay, you're ready to code. Thanks for hanging with Shared Science. Tune in to lesson 1 for more creative engineering fun. Welcome back, friends. I'm Burke with Shared Science in Long Beach, California, where creative kids dive into STEM fun. This is lesson 1 of Python Bites, where you'll write your first Python program and learn about variables. You should have completed lesson 0 before you continue with this lesson. Still here? Good. If you haven't already, go to Replit in your browser. It's a tradition that a coder's first program in a new language prints the text "Hello World" on the screen. In Python, this is very simple. just type print and then open parentheses, open quotation marks, and then hello world, and let's put an exclamation point in there as well. And that's it. Run your program by clicking on the Run button. It's green right up top. Great. There we go. Your program's output is on the right side of the screen over here, and you should see Hello World printed right there. If it didn't work, check your spelling and punctuation carefully. Python is easy, but there are a few rules you have to follow. Whenever you want to print text like Hello World, you must surround it with quotation marks. Lucky for you, Replit provides error checking. Let's make a mistake on purpose and see what happens. Look at the print command. See how it's written in blue? Let's highlight it right here and press Delete or Backspace to get the N out of there. Now, you've got the command print, and it's printed in black, which means that Replit does not recognize it. If you run the program, there you go. Congratulations, it's your first Python error message. Python doesn't recognize print as a command. The error message tells you which line the problem is on, and in this case we just have one, and it says the name print is not defined. Go back in, add the N back in, and run again. Great! Hello World. Okay, let's do a little more coding. Hello World is cool and everything, but not very personal. So, how do we change it? Well, the easiest way is to edit the text inside the quotes. Delete world. I'm just going to double click it and write right over with my first name. Burke, you can use your first name. Now run the program. Hello, Burke. Well, that's great, right? Imagine, though, that you have a long program and you want to change the name frequently. You could customize each line individually. That's not very efficient. You need a variable, a placeholder for something else. Try this. Let's insert a new line before the print command line. There. Print is now on line 2, and we're going to go up to line 1. And let's type in name equals, and then open quotes, your name. I'm going to type in Burke, B-U-R-K. So, we've got a variable named name that you've just created, and the value of that variable is the characters, in my case, B-U-R-K. So, how do you use it? Simple. Edit the print statement so that you take out your name and the exclamation point. Then type a comma after the closed quotes, and then a space and your variable name. What happens when you run your code? Let's try it. Hello, Burke. So Python creates a variable called name. It associates the text string, that would be Burke, with that variable, and then when Python evaluates the print statement, it automatically fills in the value of the name variable. Don't worry, this is a little confusing, but it'll all make more sense once you've done it a few times. Python's print statement can handle a list of things to print, including text, variables, even the answers to mathematical operations, as long as they are all separated by commas. Let's add a comment so we can remember what our code is supposed to do. Make a new line, let's do it up top, and then print the pound sign or the hashtag. It's above the number 3. Notice that it appears in gray. I'm going to type hello world behind it. This is a comment. Python ignores anything on a line after that hashtag or pound sign. And you can type notes to yourself to remind you of what your program's name is, what it's supposed to do, what a particular line of code is supposed to do, or just as a way to change things around without worrying too much about getting everything wrong. So I've just copied the print hello name line, and I'm going to put a hashtag in front of the first one. This way, if I want to play around with this print statement, I can always go back to the original right here. All right, one more thing. In the output window, over here on the right, click on this backspace button, and you should see the Python version number displayed. So ours at this writing is 3.8.2. This is important. Versions of Python before version 3.0 are not necessarily compatible with the more recent ones. If you're Googling around for Python tips, be sure that they're for Python 3, not for Python 2. That's it for Lesson 1. You have created your first program, learned to print a message to the screen, and assigned your first variable. For homework, edit the print statement to display an exclamation point after the name variable. I'll post the solution in the comments of the next lesson. Next time, we'll cover loops and learn how to get input from a user. Thanks for hanging with Shared Science. Tune in again for more creative engineering fun. I told you can't do that in here.
So you've written your first Python program. I hope you have. It's a bigger deal than you might think. Now you know how to open a new program, how to enter commands, and how to use the print command to make text appear on your screen. This is a basic program. Congratulations. Hello World is a traditional first program in a new language, and I still get a kick out of doing it every time. Now don't forget, if you've fallen behind, you can always watch the Python Bytes videos at your own pace. There's a link in the chat to our YouTube playlist. Next, we're going to learn how to make loops, one of the fundamentals of programming. Don't worry, you got this. I'll be back after Lesson 2.
Welcome back, friends. I'm Burke with Shared Science in Long Beach, California, where creative kids dive into STEM fun. This is Lesson 2 of Python Bytes, where you'll learn about loops, more about variables, and how to get input from a user. You should have completed Lessons 0 and 1 before you continue. Still here? Good. The answer to Lesson 1's homework challenge is in the comments of this video. If you haven't already, open Replit in your browser. By the end of Lesson 1, you had written a program that created a variable and printed a personalized message to the screen. What if you want to execute a command over and over again? You use a loop, or a section of code that repeats itself. Why? Well, we'll get there in a few minutes. Be patient. First, let's create a new REPL. Click over here on the blue New REPL button. Choose Python, and you'll notice that REPL gives a random name to your new REPL. But you can change it to anything you want. I'm going to call mine Loopy. And create. So we've got a fresh screen. And by the way, your old one was saved under whatever name it had on it in your list of REPLs. Let's make the first line a comment. Remember, it's the pound sign. And then we're going to, let's call this one loops. All right. So first, we're going to create a variable named x. X equals 0, the number 0. Notice that 0 is in green. It's recognized, and that makes it distinct from the letter O. And now we're going to create a while statement. A while statement is a way of doing things while a certain condition is met. So let's type in while x is less than 10, and then a colon. Very important. When you press the return key, notice that REPL will automatically indent. This is the way that Python keeps track of what's inside of a little subroutine. So within a while statement, everything after it is indented until you want it to end. I'll show you more about that in a minute. So let's type in print and then hello world. Open quotes, hello world. Now, This program should print hello world 10 times, but there does seem to be something missing. Ah, what the heck? Let's just run it. Oh my. Okay, that's not what we wanted. Hold down the Control button and press C. It might take a second for the program to catch up, but it should stop printing. So what happened? We created an infinite loop. Let's walk through the code line by line. First, we create the variable x and assign it to 0, right? And then we create a while command that runs for as long as x is less than 10. And then we print. So the value of x never changes. Here's what we need: a counter, something that can tell us how many times it's been run. Make a new line after the print statement and type in x equals x plus 1. See, now the value of x increases every time the loop runs. Let's run it again. That's much better. It's kind of hard to count those hello worlds, though, isn't it? Edit your print statement to add x comma before hello world. So we're going to type in x comma and then a space for readability, and we'll run it again. Aha! Now they're numbered, but it looks kind of funny to have a list start with 0. How can we get it to start with 1? Well, we can change the initial value of x to 1 and then change the while to test for x is less than 11, but there's a much easier way. Want to try and figure it out for yourself? Pause now and come back when you're ready. Want a hint? Look at the order of operations, line by line. Did you get it? Good job, smarty pants. No? Don't worry, you'll catch on. The print statement prints the value of x at the time when the print statement is run. The way we've written it, x doesn't change until after the print statement. Try cutting and pasting the print statement to the line after x equals x plus 1. I'm just going to highlight it, press Control C, or rather Control X to cut, and Control V to paste. Whoops, I've got an extra space in there I need to take out. There. Now run it. Starts with 1, ends with 10. Great. All right, let's switch gears for a minute. How do you get information from a user? Easy. Use the input command. First, create a variable called firstName. firstname. But instead of assigning it a value directly, like firstName equals Burke, we'll have the input command get the value from the keyboard. So we're going to type in firstName equals input, and then an open parentheses and an open quotes. You're seeing this a lot, aren't you? The open parentheses and open quotes. What is your first name? I'm going to put a question mark and then a space after the question mark. Now, try it. It asks the question, what is your first name? I type in Burke. Good. But I haven't done anything with it yet. So let's print underneath here, print, hello, and then, comma, first name. Now we'll try it. Run. Burke. Hello, Burke. Great. So, input asks the question, what's your first name? And then it assigns whatever you type in to the variable first name in this case. And again, notice that I put a space before the close quotes. That's because input prints your question exactly as you tell it to, and it looks nicer with a space. Well, that's it for lesson 2. You have created your first loop and learned how to gather input from a user. For homework, change your program so that it counts down from 10 instead of up from 0. I'll post the solution in the comments of the next lesson. Do keep in mind that you're going to have to make several changes, more than 2. Next time, we'll dive into the mysterious ways of if. Thanks for hanging with Shared Science. Tune in again for more creative engineering fun. Is that my pancake? Come back here.
That wasn't so hard, was it? Loops are easy to understand and very powerful. Computers are best at doing repetitive things that require great accuracy. Now you know how to ask a computer to do things for you using the Python programming language. There's much more to learn, and if you'd like to continue with Python, watch the Python Bytes videos for much more detail. There's a link in the chat to our YouTube playlist. They're all free.